Today I will talk about supply chain performance measurement. We will see the role of key performance indicators in supply chain management. This is part of my series of lectures on supply chain management. This is my lecture outline. First I will give introduction, then I will talk about various categories of supply chain matrices in detail. Then I'll talk about supply chain operations reference model, followed by a balanced scorecard approach. Then I will talk about benchmarking and continuous improvement. Then finally, briefly, I will talk about data-driven decision making in supply chain management. Supply chain management is not only about designing efficient networks, managing suppliers, or mitigating risk. It is also about measuring performance effectively. Without clear performance measurement systems, organizations cannot determine whether their supply chain strategies are achieving intended objectives. Performance management provides visibility into operational effectiveness, identifies inefficiencies, aligns supply chain activities with corporate strategy, support continuous improvement. In highly competitive and globalized markets, organizations must measure not only cost efficiency, but also service quality, flexibility, resilience, sustainability, and innovation capability. I will talk more about these categories. Performance measurement enables organizations to align operations with strategic objectives, monitor cost and service levels, identify bottlenecks, improve decision making, enhance accountability, and it also supports governance. Overemphasis on cost cutting is a risk of poor measurement. So if we don't do performance measurement, then these are the various risks. We can ignore service quality, and there is a risk of local optimization over global optimization, and we will have short-term focus. Performance metrics must reflect corporate strategy. For example, if strategy emphasizes cost leadership, we should focus more on cost KPIs. If the strategy emphasizes service differentiation, we should focus on service metrics. If strategy emphasizes resilience, we should focus on flexibility and risk metrics. Then let us see various categories of supply chain metrics. First of all, financial cost metrics, then asset utilization metrics, inventory metrics, logistic and transportation metrics, service metrics. These are other categories: flexibility metrics, sustainability metrics, customer order fulfillment metrics, supplier metrics, and learning and growth metrics. So let us see one by one in detail. These are cost matrices. Example, total supply chain cost, transportation cost, warehousing cost, inventory holding cost, procurement cost, TCO, cash to cash cycle time, that is time to convert resources into cash. These are detailed formulas. Anyone who is interested can pause the video and take a note of these formulas. This is about CCC, and this include days of inventory outstanding plus days of sales outstanding minus days of payable outstanding. Then asset utilization metrics. This include inventory turnover ratio, days of inventory, capacity utilization, return on assets, return on working capital. These are the formulas for asset utilization matrices. This is a formula for days of sales of inventory, that is DSI. Then logistic and transportation metrics. These matrices focus on the movement of goods such as freight cost per unit, shipping cost, on-time delivery percentages. Then service matrices, these include order fill rate, on-time delivery, target is 95% or more, perfect order rate, target is 95% or more, lead time, customer satisfaction, these include various KPIs, and these are customer satisfaction score, customer effort score, retention rate, net promotion score, and customer query resolution time. Service metrics measure responsiveness and reliability. These are the formulas for service metrics. Then flexibility metrics include volume flexibility, time to recovery, changeover time. Changeover time is the duration between the last good unit of a production run and the first good unit of the next run. Then new product introduction speed. So these are the flexibility which reflect adaptability and resilience of supply chain. These are the formulas for flexibility matrices. This is the formula for changeover time. Then this is the concept of new product introduction speed. Then sustainability metrics. These include carbon footprint, energy usage, waste reduction, supplier compliance rate. These are the various formulas for carbon footprint, formula for energy usage, formulas for waste reduction, formula for supplier compliance rate. Then process efficiency metrics. These are the formulas. Then customer order fulfillment metrics. These include various KPIs like on time and in full deliveries, order accuracy, customer order cycle time, perfect order rate, back order rate, rate of return, and fill rate. These are the formulas for customer order fulfillment metrics. Then supplier metrics, these include supplier lead time, defect rate, and service level agreement compliance. These are the detail of the supplier metrics. Then learning and growth matrices, these include training completion rate, assessment pass rate, knowledge gain measure, knowledge retention rate, training cost per employee, training return on investment, time to proficiency or mastery, and internal promotion rate. These are the formulas for learning and growth metrics. Now let us see what is supply chain operations reference model. The supply chain operations reference model was developed by Association of Supply Chain Management, and it is a standardized framework used to diagnose, measure, and improve supply chain performance. It has 6 core components, and these are the various core components including plan, source, make, deliver, return, enable. This is about Association of Supply Chain Management. It is a global leader in supply chain organizational transformation, innovation, and talent development. It is a non-profit organization. The core components of SCOR model include plan, source, make, deliver, return, enable. There are 4 levels of score analysis: top level, configuration level, process element level, and implementation level. The score model categorizes metrics into reliability matrices, we have seen, responsiveness, we have seen, agility, we have seen, cost matrices, and asset management efficiency. Then let us see what is balanced scorecard approach. The balanced scorecard integrate financial and non-financial matrices. It is originally developed by Kaplan and Norton and include 4 perspectives. So it include more than the financial aspects, and the 4 aspects include financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth. So these are the detail of various aspects of the balanced scorecard: financial perspective, customer perspective, internal process perspective, and learning and growth perspective. We have seen every detail in my previous slides. Then the benefits of balanced scorecard approach include holistic measurement. It avoids cost-only focus. It links performance to strategy and it encourages long-term thinking. These are the challenges. It is complex to implement and there may be data collection challenges and it requires cross-functional coordination. Then benchmarking. Benchmarking compare performance metrics against industry leaders or competitors or best-in-class organizations. These are the types of benchmarking: internal benchmarking, competitive benchmarking, functional benchmarking, and generic benchmarking. These are the steps. We identify metrics, we collect data, we compare with the industry standard, we identify gap, and we implement the improvement. These are the benefits of benchmarking. It identifies performance gaps, it encourages innovation, it promotes best practice adoption. There are various risks. There is a risk of blind imitation. We may ignore contextual differences between organizations. We may focus only on measurable metrics. Then continuous improvement. This is a cycle for continuous improvement. This is Deming cycle of plan, do, check, act. Then data-driven decision metrics. So we can use the data and artificial intelligence for various functions of supply chain management, including demand forecasting and inventory management, risk management, logistic optimization, and to get actionable insights. So this is the utilization. We may have real-time dashboards. We may use AI in the data analytics. We may get data from Internet of Things. We may do predictive modeling and supply chain management softwares. They help in data-driven decision making. So this is all for today. Thank you very much.